It is playoff time in winter sports. Welcome to another edition of Sports Jam. I'm John Jacobson.
I'm Jay Wilcox. Ahead today on the show, highlights from section wrestling and boys swimming, plus state gymnastics, and a look ahead to the girls basketball playoffs. First up, playoff boys hockey. The Wayzata Trojans stumbled a bit down the stretch in the regular season, but look ready for the playoffs. After blasting Hopkins in the Section 6AA quarterfinals, it's Wayzata and Minnetonka in the semis. The Trojans' Akash Batra feeds Jalen Wall in front. Wall nets the game's first goal 5.5 minutes into the contest. On to the second period, and Chase Heising will get a hold of the loose puck, and he beats the Tonka goalie here, 2-0 Trojans. The Skippers, though, have an answer for that one. Jimmy Schultz with the shot from the high slot. Connor Thie scores on the rebound to cut Wayzata's lead to 2-1. Same score in the third period when Wayzata's Max Zimmer finds the back of the net for his first playoff goal, and it's 3-1 Wayzata. The Trojans add two more, including one from Wall on a power play. Wayzata, after two regular season losses to Minnetonka, eliminates the Skippers 5-1.
I mean, on paper, it obviously is an upset, but like I said before, we had their number. They had us first the two times. We played just with them. They just squeaked it out by one. And I don't think it was an upset at all. I think we could win this game, and we did.
In the other semifinal in 6AA, top seed Benilde beats Eden Prairie 5-3 behind two TJ Moore goals. That sets up Wednesday's final between the Red Knights and the Trojans. Face-off is at 8 at Mariucci Arena.
In Section 5AA, Maple Grove hoped to put a tough season off the ice behind them as they started play in the section playoffs. Third-seeded Maple Grove took on number 6 seed Irondale in the quarterfinals. This is the opening face-off, and watch what happens. Drake Thompson to Josh Passel, over to Nate Erickson for the goal. 7 seconds into the game, and the Crimson are on the board. Leading 2-0, Sam Valeria sets up Erickson for the one-timer in goal, and Maple Grove is on its way. Number 24, Thompson with the shot from the point here. That's tipped in by Chris Freemark. Maple Grove leads 4-0, less than 9 minutes into the game. They add two more goals late in the second period. Parker Dean to Josh Augustine for the quick shot. 5-0 Grove there. And Erickson sets up Eric Cones with the final goal of the night. It's running time in the third period as the Crimson skate to a 6-0 win.
Also in Section 5AA, Champlain Park taking on Anoka after a scoreless first. Anoka putting on the pressure. The first couple are blocked, but number 7, Drew McLaughlin, banks it off. Goalie Tyler Nelson skating in. It's 1-0 Tornadoes through 2. Patch and Austin's Rebels down to the final seconds of the third. Bryce Plunkett backhands it toward the net, and Luke Dahlman knocks it in. That ties it up with just 15 seconds left. We go to 1 and then 2 overtimes. Dahlman takes the pass and goes to the net. The first one stopped, but he puts it away for the game winner as Champlain Park pulls out a 2-1 thriller. Also in the quarterfinals, Osseo falls to top seed Blaine 4-0. In the semifinals Wednesday, Champlain Park meets Blaine at 6, followed by Maple Grove and Centennial at 8 at the State Fair Coliseum.
Plymouth's Danny Cameronese won Metro Player of the Year honors last week in girls hockey. The senior also led the Bears into the state tournament for the first time in 4 years. Cameronese and the Blake Bears facing War Road for the Class A title. Carly Lund sends the pass for the point, and Lilia Everson with a wrist shot hits the net. 1-0 Blake midway through the first. Watch Carly Bullock work her way through most of the War Road D here before tucking a backhander in. The first of 2 for Bullock in the first period. Cameronese wins the draw to herself and sets up Lund for a sweet goal. Their fans are pumped up. It's 4-1 Bears after 1. Second period, Cameronese with the end-to-end rush for the goal. Lake Rock's top-seeded War Road 7-2 to take the state title. Cameronese topped off the weekend when she was named Ms. Hockey. In boys swimming and diving, 2 local Class AA teams won section titles. Highlights from the 5AA meet in Minnetonka. 200-yard freestyle, Mounds View's Noah Lucas wins. Wayzata's Owen Cusick takes second. Teammate Greg Arnold also third, and he qualifies for state. 200-yard IM, Sasha Savanov of Mounds View is first. Wayzata's Kevin Stowe closes strong for second place. 50-yard freestyle, Osseo's Nolan Vanderploeg finishes just 5/100ths of a second behind winner Andrew Schleiss of Mounds View. 100 butterfly, Wayzata sweeps the top 3 spots. Chris Karlstrom, Court Hansen, and Sean Burke finishing 1, 2, 3, all qualify for state. 100 freestyle. Osseo's Josh Nelson breaks the section record with a time of 48.29 seconds, but Mounds View's Schleiss is even faster, winning the race and setting a new section record with a time of 47.74. 100 backstroke, the Trojans Karlstrom and Hansen tie for first place. Stoll of Wayzata and Nelson of Osseo finished third and fourth with state qualifying times. And in the 100 breaststroke, a great battle between Osseo's Tim Van Larhoven and Mounds View's Savanoff. Larhoven wins out with a time of 1 minute, 1.87 seconds. He is going to state. Wayzata wins this section. Mounds View is second, Osseo third, Cooper fifth, Armstrong seventh, and Park Center eighth. At the Section 8AA meet in St. Cloud, Maple Grove wins the team title ahead of St. Michael Albertville. Rainer's third, Rogers places eighth, and a lot of Crimson swimmers headed on to state this week.
Yeah, and Champlain Park takes fifth in Section 7AA, and Hopkins is fourth in 6AA.
Straight ahead here on Sports Jam, state gymnastics highlights, plus 2 girls basketball teams from the area shoot for conference championships.
Welcome back to Sports Jam. The state meet is now in the books in gymnastics.
That's right, and one local squad made the team competition. The Wayzata Trojans, part of the Class AA field of 8 teams. This is Hannah Roth. She scored a 9.375 on the floor exercise and was the Trojans' top all-arounder in the meet. Claire Lorbecki earned the top score for Wayzata on the floor with a mark of 9.475. As a team, the Trojans scored 36.625 on the floor. To the vault, where Roth lands with a score of 9.325. She finished 18th overall in the all-around at the individual meet on Saturday. Maddie Aaron vaults to Wayzata's top score in this event. She lands with a score of 9.375. Casey McCarthy finishes second behind Roth on the uneven bars for Wayzata. McCarthy's routine earns her a score of 8.75. It's very close to the top of the Class AA team results as Roseville just edges both Northfield and St. Cloud Tech to repeat as champions. Wayzata finishes fifth with a season-high score of 144.125. Now to girls basketball. Osseo came into Friday's last regular season game against Centennial, trailing the Cougars by 1 game in the Northwest Suburban Conference standings. And it's close early on. Phillis Webb with the spin move, and she rises up to hit the one-hander that ties the game up at 10. Centennial opens up a lead. J.C. Girding with a bounce pass to Deja Morris for the layup, 21-15 Cougars. And they play well on their home court. Destiny Morris hits a long 3 as Centennial takes a 31-26 lead into halftime. Nice passing for the Cougars in the second half leads to an easy layup for Jill Conrad, who scores 17 to lead Centennial. Off the inbounds pass, Paige Wytashik pops a long 3 as Centennial takes a 50-43 lead. She totals 15 points in the night. But Osseo steps up the defense, and it leads to a hoop. Isle Port to Janay Morton to Webb for the hoop, and Osseo surges into the lead 51-50. It's a big win for the Orioles. They rally past Centennial 74-62 and tie for the conference title.
Also in the Northwest Suburban, Champlain Park hosting Anoka. Anoka's Kira Fredenberg sneaks up for the steal and keeps drifting right with the dribble until she's open for a 3, the start of a good game for her. Nice post position for Hannah Crimble, and Genevieve Adkins feeds Crimble for 2 for the Rebels, who are down by 4 at this point. Kelly Heitens finds Alexis Alexander cutting for the hoop here, but Champlain Park trails a low-scoring game 21-19 at halftime. Second half now, and Anoka's Amber Brave finds Abby Torgerson cutting free for a wide-open layup. The Tornadoes go up by 10. Pass coming right at the camera here. Heitens is there for the catch and hoop for Champlain Park. They swing it around to Alexander, and she'll pop a 3. Part of a 10-point game for Alexander. The Rebels within 2, but it's Anoka holding on to beat the Rebels 48-43.
Cooper's girls basketball team was searching for its first conference title in school history as they played Benilde St. Margaret's. Early second half, the Red Knights add to their 7-point halftime lead. Grace Coughlin to Azaria Jackson-Sherrod on the break. Then quick passing to Abby Minia for the baseline jumper for a 27-15 lead. but Cooper rallies. Kalea Rich, tough drive, hits for 2 here for the Hawks. And then Rich with the assist finds Lori Bowler open for threes. Cooper comes back. Benilde comes right back though. Jackson Sherrod gets loose underneath and scores. Red Knights up 33-30. The Hawks eventually go ahead. Chelsea McGee, the steal. Her shot doesn't fall, but Bowler is there for the putback. And it's 39-37 Hawks. A huge play here. Rich misses, and Benilde gets the rebound, but Rich steals it back, gets the basket and the foul. And the Hawks win 48-42 to clinch their first ever conference title. We'll hear from Cooper later in the show. And that brings us to playoff time in girls basketball. As expected, Hopkins is the #1 seed and big favorite in Section 6 4A. Then it's Minnetonka as the 2nd seed, Wayzata and Cooper. Armstrong is number 6. In the quarterfinals Wednesday, Hopkins hosts South. Cooper is at home against Southwest, and Armstrong is at Wayzata. The semifinals are Saturday afternoon at Osseo. In Section 5 4A, Osseo has to settle for the 3rd seed behind Roseville and Centennial. After the Orioles, it's 2 more local squads, Maple Grove and Champlin Park in the 4-5 slots. Thursday in the quarterfinals, Maple Grove plays host to Champlin Park, in which should be a good game. Osseo is home against Mounds View. The semifinals are next Tuesday at Anoka. In Class 3A, Park Center is the 2nd seed behind De La Salle. Those teams have met in the finals the past couple of seasons. Fortuna Grace is the number 6 seed. Grace opens the tournament Thursday at Spring Lake Park, while Park Center hosts Blake. These semis are also next Tuesday at Maple Grove, with the final title game next Friday at Anoka.
Also, John, defending state class 2A champion Providence Academy is the top seed in the South bracket in Section 5AA, and Maranatha is the #1 seed in the Section 4A tourney as well.
Looking to get back to state, both of those teams.
Yeah, 2 more great programs. In boys basketball, Brooklyn Center is having a much stronger season than last winter. The Centaurs played host to Minneapolis Roosevelt. BC starts fast. They trigger it ahead to Michael Hudson for the fast break layup. It's a quick 6-0 lead. Hudson scores 16 in the game. Roosevelt goes on a run. Off the inbound play, Joseph Gillespie attacks and cuts through the defenders to score. Rob Mestis and the Teddies leading it 19-13. Back and forth it goes. Sammy Watkins gets it at the top of the key and drives to score in the lane. Brooklyn Center leads a good one, 32-31 at halftime. Roosevelt roars back. Demetrius Durant getting away with the carry there, but he sets up Gillespie for the hoop. It's part of an 11-0 run for the Teddies. Brooklyn Center keeps on coming. Clement Gibson gives the ball and dishes to Jacob Catledge for the hoop and foul. Catledge with 23, and Watkins drives to score, and the Centaurs pull out a 62-61 win. After section team champs were crowned last weekend, spots in the individual portion of the state wrestling tournament were up for grabs on Saturday. In Section 5 3A, championship matches starting at 106. Maple Grove's Brad Osachek gets the takedown on the way to a 5-3 decision over Jack Berglund of Centennial. At 132, Osseo's Carson Brolsma gets the near fall points as he overwhelms Jack O'Brien of Moundsview to win by technical fall. Maple Grove looking for an upset at 138 as number 6 seed Theo G advances to the final. Top seed Philip Anderson of Rogers wins 13-5, but the top 2 go to state, so G advances too. Osseo gets another champ at 145 as Tony Gamache clamps the cradle on Kyler Swanson of Rogers, and he'll get the pin. The Orioles send 5 wrestlers on to state. At 160, Corey Berry of Champlin Park with a quick reversal as he beats Andrew Lanners of Osseo 5-2. Park Center gets a qualifier at 170, and the solid green Rico Lester gets the takedown. He loses 8-6 to Moundsview's Jeremy Redmond, but Lester survives a 2-second match. Host Champlin Park gets a second champion as Laquan Wallace wins by fall at 182 over Jake Owens of Rogers. And here's what a few local champions had to say.
It was definitely a good match. I had a great opponent. That's just right where I wanted to be. That's right where I wanted to be.
It feels so great. This is actually the first time this whole year that I took first place. I had a handful of seconds and 1/3, so it truly feels amazing to finally bring home the first place.
It feels pretty good. I mean, 2 years in a row, going back to state, having a better feeling about what I'm going to do. It just feels good to know that now I have a better chance than I did last year, so I'm pretty excited to see what happens.
And John, in Section 6 3A, Wayzata had 6 champions and 1 runner-up going to state, also 2 from Hopkins and 1 from Armstrong moving on.
And in the Class 2A, Brooklyn Center gets 1 to state and 6 each from Totino Grace and Benilde Advance at state tournament coming up later this week. Next up, we meet a dynamic duo for the Osseo girls basketball team who will be teammates in the future, too. As we saw earlier in the program, the Osseo girls basketball team won its 3rd straight conference title. In this week's Sports Jam Spotlight story, we meet 2 Orioles seniors who have helped pave the way to Osseo's success. They are a basketball-playing dynamic duo. Osseo seniors Janay Morton and Phillis Webb are 2 big reasons the Orioles are poised to make another run at the state tournament.
They've meant a lot to this program. Their work ethic, the energy that they bring into the gym, that competitive nature that they have, that they want to go out every night and compete at a high level. You know, they've been bringing that since they've walked into the program.
Janay averages just under 18 points per game and leads the Orioles in both steals and assists. Phillis is the team's leading rebounder and averages over 16 points a game. The girls first played ball together back in 5th grade. Longtime teammates like this tend to develop a great connection.
When you play with somebody for a long time, they find you on the floor really well. And when you play one-on-one with them too, they know your strength and they know your weaknesses. So it really helps because if you're doing that in practice, you can help them strengthen their weaknesses and make their strengths stronger.
We connect on the court, and it's like we know each other's tendencies. I know everything Phyllis can do, what she can't do. She knows everything I can do and can't do. We know where to get each other the ball whenever we're on the court. So it's just really a great combo.
Though similar in size, each player has their own skill set. Skills that complement and help the other's game.
Little runner.
And each possess skills the other player wishes she had.
You see her when she's on a fast break. She could take off from the free throw line and beat a girl who was already at half court, so she's extremely fast. She can jump out of this gym, so we always expect Phyllis to get those rebounds, and that'd be a little nice trait to have.
She's been able to do passes out of nowhere that I didn't even think she could see me. She'll see like the littlest gap and get the ball through there, but I admire her for that because I can't even do that.
After a near miss as sophomores, the Orioles swept through the Section 5 tournament a year ago and finished as Class 4A runners-up to Hopkins at state. 7 of the top 10 players from that Osseo team graduated, leaving Janay, Phyllis, and junior Io Port as the only Orioles players with much varsity experience. The 2 seniors met the challenge both on and off the court and are great team leaders, albeit in different ways.
Their leadership styles are very different. Phyllis is very much of a lead by example, do what I do, not so much vocal. Janay is more out there, always been a little more verbal, a little more vocal, a little more goofy at times on things, and that's good too. So the 2 of them together, I think, have been a good balance for each other.
Phyllis first verbally committed to Eastern Michigan University last year. Not long after, Janay followed suit, and in November, both girls signed their letters of intent with the Eagles. They didn't really plan it that way.
It just happened. I mean, and it would be nice. I thought, it would be great to play with another teammate, somebody you already know, but it was a decision. I like the campus. I love Coach Verdi and his staff.
I'm going to Michigan, so it's a foreign place. I don't have family out there or anything, so being able to go out there with someone makes the stress of freshman year dull down a little bit.
Their future college friends will get to know Janay and Phyllis as individuals. Their Orioles teammates know them too, but sometimes others around school aren't so sure which girl is which.
Janay, she actually got royalty for our school, and people were pointing at me like, vote for her, vote for her. I'm like, I'm not Janay, and people think we look the same. I don't see it.
It happens all the time. People are like, oh, hi, Phyllis, or, think I'm Phyllis and ask me about track or something. Like, no, I'm Janay, and, it happens all the time. It's been happening since we've been here, so I guess just got used to it.
Meanwhile, the Orioles' opponents just see the 2 as double trouble and the top threats for an Osseo team determined to make another playoff push.
that feeling is like right there. And I know every game we're just that much closer to being able to go on to state and have that experience again. So that's what we're looking forward to, and making them run in state. We don't want to just go to state, but we also want to make a run.
Janay and Phillis also played volleyball for Osseo, while Phillis ran the anchor leg on the Oriole State Champion 4x200 relay team last spring. More girls hoops in a moment as Jay talks with members of the North Suburban Conference champion Cooper Hawks.
Welcome back to Sports Jam. It's been a record-setting season for the Cooper girls basketball team as they clinched their first ever conference title, the North Suburban Championship, with a win over Benilde St. Margaret's last week. And we're joined by a couple of players and also Coach Jen Rademacher, and starting with Lori Bowler. And I know it's something you guys had worked for, but now that you've accomplished it, how big of a deal is it to win that conference championship?
I mean, it's a huge deal for us. We're super excited. You know, we got the championship, and not only that, but it gives us momentum, you know, going into sections. So we're excited.
I think that it worked out nicely, too, that, you know, Benilde was obviously the other team that was up there with you, and they'd finished right ahead of you the last 2 years. Was it even more special to be able to do it by beating them?
Yeah, it was. We had a couple letdowns, you know, within the past couple of years. So it was a huge deal, and we kind of broke their streak, and we're starting our own, so.
You were trailing them at, you know, after halftime, and what was the difference? What did you guys do to get back and pull ahead of them and end up ultimately beating them?
Basically, we just started playing harder, and once we got started, it just kept rolling, and, you know, we were getting rebounds and putting them in and finished it off.
All right, congratulations, Lori. Good luck in the playoffs.
Thank you.
And Tori Green, your team has, you know, faced a lot of tough teams early in the season. Do you feel like that really got you ready for that North Suburban schedule, too?
Yeah, it helped us a lot, you know, to notice, like, and see what we had to do to beat the other teams, and I think it just helped us a lot.
I guess it would be fun to be ahead right from the first minute on, but the way you had to rally like that, did it make it maybe even a little bit more fun?
Yeah, it was kind of stressful at first, but once we got going, it was nice, you know, had to play harder and work all together and got the win.
Getting ready for playoff time now, and it is no doubt a tough road to try to get to state, but what do you guys have to really focus on? What part of your game will you be working on the most to play those tough teams?
I think mostly we just got to play really good defense and work together, and I think we could do it, so, yeah.
All right, good luck in the playoffs, and congratulations on that conference championship. And Coach Rademacher has been in this program for quite a number of years, and I'm sure there were times when you wondered, you know, will we ever have success like this? How does it feel now that it's here?
Clearly it's always about the kids. It's always been about the kids. It has been really fun to have, I think, just better talented kids. I mean, our kids have always been great kids who've worked really hard, but we've had some kids who've put in some extra time, and you know, and our conference fits us a lot better than it did 10 years ago when we were in the Classic League. So a bit of validation there, but honestly, just working with these kids and how hard they've worked the last couple of years and how close we've gotten to finally really get them over the top and finish it off finally. It was really nice.
Kind of a nice scenario the way it happens, too, by having to beat Benilde to clinch it. Was that a fun night, or was it pretty stressful, like Tori was saying?
It was both, definitely. I mean, definitely stressful, but I think to really do it right and to feel the complete, I think there's just complete celebration in that, because there isn't any but. There's no oh buts. We beat every team that we were supposed to beat, and we went and we beat Benilde, and we had to beat them when we only had a one-game lead. So that was nice. That's really what we've always talked to the kids. It's game by game, but we know what our final goal is, and that's play our best basketball in March. And if we play our best basketball and the scoreboard doesn't show a win, then at least we can walk out of the gym with our heads held high, and you don't get to pick who's in your section. So we're just going to give everybody as much heck as we can give them. So.
All right, Jen, congratulations on a great season so far, and best of luck in the playoffs, too.
Thank you very much.
All right, Jen Rademacher, head coach, Cooper girls basketball, first ever conference champions in the program. We'll be back to put the finishing touches on Sports Jam in just a moment.
That's all we have time for. Thanks so much for watching.
See you next week on Sports Jam as the playoffs continue.